Hey, my name is Ryan Bester. I did the simulation online for Buhi bags, and I was able to learn a lot about social media platforms, posts, how to grow followers, how to engage with our followers, how to be organic, as well as how to plan a social media campaign with planning out the entire week, allocating a budget, seeing how much money would go towards certain posts, things like that. I had a couple goals going into this that were given to me by the CMO. That was to spend the entire budget. I had 25% that I could spend on content and 75% that I could spend on promotions. I had to spend that really wisely. I had to make sure that the posts that I were posting were quality, that they just weren't posts to put out there to increase my content. I had to grow brand awareness. So I had to grow my following. I didn't just have to post a post, but to really make sure that what I was putting out there was engaging with my audience and they could share a story with us and follow our accounts and engage in that way. Engagements as well. We want people to comment, to share, to like, to really interact with our posts instead of just having it out there for people to look at, but really have something that they can share in. Increase our sales. I had a goal of increasing the sales to $1 million. I didn't have a specific goal from the CMO on this, but he wanted to make sure that I could grow effectively every single week, all of my sales, and to outperform the peers. I think we had about 50 people in our classroom doing this at the same time, and the goal was to end up in the top 5. My personal goals going into this were really to understand how posts worked. I have an Instagram account and a Facebook account, but I don't post to get followers. I don't post to get likes and things like that. I just kind of post to make sure that what I'm doing through my day is stored. I don't have to have a lot of storage on my phone, but I can use Instagram and Facebook as a way to help me with my storage. And understand the power of influencers. I know that there's a lot of people out there that have millions of followers. Sometimes they're good for certain campaigns, sometimes they're not. And so really finding the best follower, if you really need a follower, is what I wanted to understand as well. And I needed to know how to target an audience. I wanted to know how to reach out to a certain person and to understand what they wanted, what they liked to look at, in order to use my post to target that as well. The marketing plan was to grow the Instagram following, explore other social media platforms, and to grow revenue to $1 million. I love Instagram for marketing campaigns for companies. I ran an Instagram campaign for the company that I ran. It was for about 6 months. It was a auto mechanic Instagram page, which is pretty difficult to grow a large following. Some of the largest accounts in the United States have only 1,000 followers. In the first 4 months, I was able to get up to 500 followers on the Instagram account for my auto mechanic page. But I wanted to see how I can do that in a different realm of marketing. And I wanted to explore other media platforms as well. I know Instagram would do well, but in the beginning, I really wanted to see if I could get LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, and Facebook going as well, to see how all that would play out. And in the end, to grow revenue to $1 million. If I could spend about 10% of that would be on my budgeting, I think I could get up there to get $1 million. So what was my strategy? I wanted to grow revenue quickly. I knew that was a good way to keep the company afloat. Revenue is what helps the company grow. Profits are a good measure of how well we're doing. A lot of times in the memos, it was all about growing our revenue. And so I really wanted to make that the main focus, was to grow revenue, but at the same time, grow engagements and organic followers. So followers and revenue was my strategy. What kind of content worked with my audience and what didn't work? I realized that outdoor pictures worked really well. And it didn't have to be with anybody, but just a picture of a bag outdoors really worked. And my target audience in the beginning, I thought would be the younger day backpackers who would be traveling around the world. But instead, towards the end, I learned that it was actually the age group about 30 up to 40 who traveled and liked to use expensive suitcases and luggage. And that was the travel bags. There was a white travel bag and a blue travel bag that were pretty expensive. And I really went after them about halfway through, and I saw that from the beginning, when I targeted the day backpackers, it was about $5,000 for a post that I would get. And then towards the end, since I switched it to the more expensive luggage, I was getting about $30,000 a week per post instead of that 5. And so I really switched that around. I used everything in the beginning for my channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, but I saw that Instagram got the most likes, the most follows, the most revenue. And so I actually ditched everything besides Instagram. I just ran with Instagram. And that was, for me, a good move. The way that I was posting worked a lot better with Instagram, and I saw huge growth in that. So in the end, I just used Instagram. My crisis was, in the beginning, I was focusing on how many posts I needed to do every single day, and I would be posting 15 times to Pinterest. I do 25 tweets a day, just so much stuff going on, and it really drained me out. And I saw that my numbers were falling because I was trying to get over all these platforms, because I thought that would be the best way to grow, would be to just tackle everything instead of focusing on one. So when I started tackling everything, it just kind of all fell apart for about 2-3 weeks there. I was doing that, and I was getting hardly any revenue. Nobody was following me. Nobody was engaging my posts. And so I handled it by just throwing everything out the door and just going really simple and just focus on Instagram. After I did that, I was able to increase the quality of my posts. I could allocate more money to my budget in there. And that really grew my customer base. With my growth, I had 5 stars of customer satisfaction, 35,000 impressions. I had 1.5 million engagements, 123,000 new followers, 14,000 conversions. My revenue was almost $1 million at my goal of $996,000. I ranked number 2 out of the class, and so I was able to get my goal for that in the top 5. And my budget was $57,000 or $58,000 out of the $59,000 that I was allocated. So I spent about $1,000 less than I was given. So I want to thank you so much for the simulation. I thought I learned quite a bit from it. I reached most of my goals. I wish I had more engagements and more followers, but I was able to grow revenue pretty high into the $1 million. And I got quite a few followers that were organic, and they really engaged in what I had put out there. If I were to go back and do this differently, I think I would put more unpaid promotions in there, less paid ones, kind of grow my customer base a little bit more. And in the beginning, I definitely would have focused on one social media platform instead of trying to tackle everything. So thank you so much.